Good morning all, I'm Nandhini, working as an assistant professor in SNS College of Engineering, the Department of Computer Science and Technology. Today we are going to see a topic on concurrency control problem. What is a concurrency control problem in Dbms? Executing a single transaction at a time will increase the waiting time of other transaction, which may result in delay in the overlap execution. Hence, for increasing the overall throughput and efficiency of the system, several transactions have been executed. That may be one point. The next point is concurrency control is very important concept of DBMS, which ensures the simultaneous execution or manipulation of data by several process or user without resulting in data inconsistency. And the third point is concurrency control provides a procedure that is able to control concurrency execution of the operation in the databases. And the next will be fundamental goal of a database concurrency control is to ensure that concurrent execution of transaction does not result in a loss of database consistency. The concept of serialization can be used to achieve their goal, since all serialization schedules preserves consistency in the databases. Next one will be in general it is not possible to perform an automatic analysis of low level operation because this transaction gets a checkup database consistent control. Fundamental low level operations are to be extended concurrency control to delay with them, which treats some operation basics. Next one will be a basics for a split of the database into sub databases on which concurrency can be managed separately. Next one, with the help of a concurrency control problem has been derived. There are several problems that arises when numerical transactions are executed simultaneously in random manner. The database transaction consists of two major operations, a read and write. It is very important to manage these operations in the concurrency control transaction in order to maintain the consistency of the data. In it, a first problem will be dirty read problem, or it is known as a write read conflicts. In dirty read problem occurs when one transaction update an item, but due to some unconditional events that transaction fails, but before the transaction performs rollback some other transaction reach the updated value. This creates an inconsistency in the database. Dirty read problem comes under this scenario of read and write conflicts. There are 5 basic steps for this read and write conflicts. First one is the last update problem can be illustrated with the below scenario between two transactions T1 and T2. The transaction T1 modifies a database record without completing the changes. T2 reads a completed data change by T1. T1 reads with the help of rollback. T2 has already read the uncommitted data of T1, which is no longer valid, thus create the inconsistency in the database. Next one is the loss update problem. In this loss update problem occurs when two or more transactions modify the same data, resulting in the update being overwritten or lost by another transaction. The last update problem can be illustrated with the below scenario between two transactions T1 and T2. For example, it has 5 steps. T1 reads the value of item from the database. T2 starts the reads the same database item. T1 updates the value of that data and performs a commit. T2 updates the same data item based on its initial read and perform commit. Result in the modification of T1 gets lost by the T2 write, which causes a lost update problem in the databases. These concurrency control protocols must have a valid reason to commit this problems. In this concurrency control problems, a set of rules which are determined in order to solve the concurrency control problems in the databases. The concurrency execution of a transaction is provided with atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability and serializability via the concurrency control protocols. Local based concurrency control protocol and timestamp based concurrency control protocol have been used. This locked based protocol is each transaction needs to acquire logs before they start accessing or modifying the data items. There are two types of logs used in databases. One is shared log and another one is exclusive log. Shared log is also known as read log, which allows multiple transactions to read the data simultaneously. The transaction which is holding a sharp lock can only read the data item, but it cannot modify the data item. Next one is an exclusive lock. Exclusive lock is also known as the write lock. Exclusive lock allows a transaction to update a data item. Only one transaction can hold the exclusive lock on a data item at a time. While the transaction is holding an exclusive lock on a data item, no other transaction is allowed to acquire a shared or exclusive lock on the same data items. There are two kinds of lock based protocols mostly used in databases. Two-phase locking protocol. Two-phase locking protocol is widely used technique for locking or acquisition and releases. Two-phase locking protocol works in two phases: growing phase and shrinking phase. In this phase, the transaction starts acquires locks before performing any modification on the data items. Once a transaction acquires a lock, that lock cannot be released until the transaction reaches the end of the execution. Shrinking phase. In this phase, the transaction releases all the acquired locks once it performs all the modification on the data item. Once the transaction starts releasing the lock, it cannot acquire any locks further in this item. Thank you so much for this video.